I read a book called Braiding Sweetgrass, and in it she said, "I am the woman with the basket, and how I fill it is a question that matters." And she was talking about consumption, and it struck me because this can be interpreted literally, like what we eat every day makes a difference in how we feel, and it impacts the animals that we share this planet with and the planet itself. But this quote also made me realize that each new day I'm given a metaphorical empty basket, and I can also choose to be intentional about what I consume, emotionally and also with the types of contents that I engage with or not. And some days are a lot better than others. Sometimes I wake up in a horrible mood and I'm late and I'm stressed, but I try to remember this quote because it reminds me that there are a lot of little ways that I can be deliberate about what I fill my basket with each day. So with that in mind, I'm going to take you through my summer morning routine, which is full of healthy habits and routines that makes me feel really good. And sometimes this takes 20 minutes, and other days I take it really slow and I enjoy a cozy, slow morning if it's like a weekend or a day off. But the routine itself pretty much stays the same every single day, and it's taken me from a person who does not identify as a morning person at all into someone who really enjoys this part of the day, most of the time anyway. So I'm going to show you what I ate for breakfast. I'm going to show you some cruelty-free makeup that I love, and I teamed up with 1440, which is a free newsletter that makes it really convenient to get kind of a briefing of what's going on in the world without clickbaity headlines and without the biased slant. It's just facts and some fun stuff too, like I recently just learned that octopus can paint. Octopi, they can paint. I didn't know that, but now I do, and I thought that was pretty cool. So more on that in a little bit, but for now, it's coffee time. Coffee, I will sit down or I'll be in bed and just drink my coffee, but I always like to read during this time instead of just scrolling on my phone. But even if I only have 5 or 10 minutes with my coffee in the morning, spending a little time reading is just my favorite way to start the day because my mind is really sharp in the morning, but my energy levels are still very low. So it allows me some time to kind of ease into my day. I'm not quite ready for breakfast, but I'm not ready to dive into emails or work or anything just yet. So it's my favorite way to start the day. And if you've watched my videos from even just a couple months ago, I said that I used to read the news a lot, and then it just, I don't know, it felt like a lot of information first thing in the morning, and so I just switched over to reading books, which I still love to do, and a lot of times I will do that, or if I have more time on the weekend, I'll do a little bit of both. But I did kind of start to feel like I was missing out on what was going on, because that was really my time in the morning to read the headlines and just kind of get like a briefing of what was happening in the day. And I do think it's really important to be informed. So I found this newsletter called 1440. You get the news, the actual headlines, the factual information, without all of the clickbait, without the social media opinions and all the different aspects. There's no spin or slant, which I really appreciate because it allows you to form your own opinions and you can kind of research more from there. And a lot of times if I have time in the morning, I'll end up going down a rabbit hole and reading all kinds of things, and I find myself learning in a way that isn't sort of clouded by other people's opinions, which I really think is important. It's just kind of what you need to know. It's broken up into really easy to read categories. Sometimes I just go through really quick and I, kind of scan it and I kind of have a general idea of what people are going to be talking about. Or if I have a little more time, I will click the links. And every time I do, I'm always pleasantly surprised that the article always takes me to a medical journal, a scientific journal, or if it's in the arts and culture section, a lot of times it's a museum that I would have never even thought to go to their website, but they have really cool stories. Like today, for example, I read one that was about a Picasso painting that had been stolen and it was found in Athens. And then I read about an octopus in Florida that can paint. Really cool stuff like that I just don't really see when I'm on my other news sites or on social media and looking for the news, because it's kind of the same sorts of headlines and all of that other stuff kind of gets lost. And I really appreciate that part of it. So that's definitely one of my favorite parts of the newsletter. To sign up, I just went ahead and I added my email address. I clicked join free and it was that easy. I now get this newsletter every morning in my inbox and it's super convenient. So if you want to join, there is a link below. It's join1440.com/NikkiVegan. And after I read, it is breakfast time, aka one of my favorite times of the day. On most days, my breakfasts are super quick. easy, no fuss. I love oatmeal, cereal, avocado toast, smoothies, but today I wanted to show you one of my all-time favorite breakfasts. It is so delicious and easy to make. It takes about 20 minutes, so maybe something that I would do on a weekend or a day off, but I had to share it with you because I'm obsessed with it. Being conscious about what I consume, of course, applies to food, and especially at breakfast time, I like to make sure that I'm fueled with a good mix of carbs, fat, protein, and fiber to keep me feeling really good throughout the day. And like I said, a lot of times this is simple, but on this day, I decided to make, first of all, my mini tortilla boats. These are going to be everything but the bagel, little mini tortilla cups, and all you do is you take a little flour tortilla, brush it with olive oil, and then you're going to basically just kind of press it into a standard muffin tin. I find it's easier if you use kind of 2 fingers on both hands to kind of wedge it down into the muffin cup, and you can do it just like this with some salt and pepper. I personally love a little bit of everything but the bagel seasoning. I did find it's a little bit easier to kind of take it out and spread around the seasoning a little bit so that it's evenly distributed. And then I just go ahead and bake this at 375 for about 12 to 14 minutes. It takes around 12 minutes in my oven. And once it's nice and golden brown, a flour tortilla, when it gets that little bit of toasty golden brown goodness, it just becomes about 10 times more flavorful. And as it cools, it will become a little bit firmer. I actually saw this trick while watching the Food Network. Molly did a breakfast burrito bowl, and this was majorly inspired by her, so shout out to Molly Ye. I'm a big fan of hers. But I veganized the filling quite a bit, and here I've got my new favorite garlic press. If you've ever tried to use a garlic press and it's like convenient because you don't have to chop, but also a pain in the butt because you don't want to clean it, this one actually has a little side on the other part. You flip it over and it makes it so easy to clean all of the little holes, so I literally just rinse it clean. Mom, if you're watching this, I've already sent one to your house. Everyone else, I linked it down below because it is such a game changer, and I find that it really gets a lot of the garlic and there's no like chopping or garlic fingers or anything like that. I've got the vegan breakfast sausage, the scallions, which kind of char and become super flavorful, and then some chopped red potatoes. I just season that with a little salt and pepper, and then I'm going to crumble in my tempeh. If you're not a fan of tempeh, I recommend trying this recipe because it really does take on so much flavor, and because we're going to simmer this with water and it's going to kind of cook together with the potatoes, the texture changes quite a bit. It really infuses with flavor, and this is probably one of my favorite ways to cook tempeh. So I'm just going to crumble it into pretty large pieces. I'm just going to go ahead and let this cook for about 2 to 3 minutes before adding about a cup or a cup and a half of cauliflower rice. I'll add lots of flavor with a tablespoon of taco seasoning, 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, and half a teaspoon of turmeric. This is going to give it a beautiful color and also contribute to the flavor. The taco seasoning that I used on this day was salt-free, so I added some salt and pepper as well, but you can definitely do this to taste. And then I add some water and let this cook all together until the potatoes are nice and soft and fork tender and all of the water in the pan has absorbed. It comes together in about 10 minutes, and as you can see, it is super hearty and flavorful. I love the charred scallion. It gives it this slight sweetness, and then you have the breakfast sausage in there, which just gives so much flavor to the potatoes and the tempeh. Plus you've got the taco seasoning, which I don't think is too much. It's not overbearing. It's not like, wow, way too many flavors in the morning. It's like that perfect subtle balance, and the nutritional yeast really gives it a nice kind of depth of flavor, a little bit of a richness and creaminess as well. And I like to spoon this directly into the crispy everything bagel tortilla boats that I made. This is delicious on its own, but I think it's even more fun to eat when you put it inside of one of the tortillas. Now, because it's an everything bagel tortilla, I went ahead and used some vegan cream cheese. This garlic herb flavor from Tofutti is divine. It's definitely one of my favorite cream cheeses. It's really, really thick and delicious, but you can do any kind of cheese that you like here. If you wanted to do like a shredded vegan cheddar, that would be great, but I just think there's something about having a little bit of a creaminess with this dish that really kind of ties in all those spices. So you could do a dollop of sour cream, you could do my cilantro yogurt sauce. And you might already be thinking that this is something that you could do to make regular tacos at dinner time too. And you would be right, I do that as well. And they're just so fun to eat. You get that extra layer of flavor from the everything bagel. And I love that creamy layer of cream cheese underneath the tempeh sausage and potato hash that we created. I really hope you guys love this recipe. It is so delicious. I've been obsessed with it. I've been eating it so much recently. And I really love making the hash and just putting it on salad too. It's also really great for that. So really great recipe
handy to have in your back pocket, and of course it will be linked in the description box below.
I'm just grabbing some socks. Every morning after breakfast, I usually spend some time doing emails just because my brain, again, is most clear and sharp in the morning. So I find that it's important for me to do those tasks that I really need to be sort of like detail oriented. I like to do that first thing in the morning. So any kind of like bills, any contracts, any important emails, I'll just stay right there at the breakfast table, grab my laptop, and spend like 15-20 minutes just doing the most important emails and kind of getting a rundown of like what my inbox looks like, what I need to tackle for the day. But then I make a point of stopping and getting up and going on a walk. And even though that sounds very not practical for most people, I'm seriously talking about walking around the block like one time sometimes. Sometimes it's a 5-minute walk, sometimes it's longer depending on the day. And it sounds like even just walking around the block is not going to do anything. It makes a huge difference in my day. I think that it just really helps me to sort of like break up the morning from the work day. And when I get back, I kind of feel like it's a new part of the day, and I will get myself ready, I will get myself in gear, and I feel ready to take on the day. So I'm gonna get my socks on and head outside.
I don't really use a cleanser in the morning. I just splash my face with water and then I go over that with a toner. I follow with this vitamin C moisturizer from Derma E and then some sunscreen, especially in the summertime. Once that has kind of sunken into my skin a little bit, I'll do some makeup, not every day, but one of my favorite concealers is by e.l.f. It's the Camo Concealer. This is super, super heavy duty, and I honestly wish this was around when I was in high school and I would have a ton of like active breakouts that I just could not cover. There was just not a makeup then that was really effective at covering redness. And now if I have a pimple, or even if I just have some redness and discoloration, which I definitely have on my face kind of everywhere, I like to pat this on, and I don't do too much under my eyes because it does kind of settle into my wrinkles. It's more as kind of like a base layer to cover the redness and any kind of like acne scarring from the past. So I use a beauty blender and I just pat it. You don't want to rub it, you want to pat it. And then I will put my foundation or BB cream on top of that. I really like this one from Born This Way. The trick for me to make it look natural is to use a wet beauty blender. That way I can do just a really thin application because it is pretty full coverage and I don't want it to be too heavy. This is my favorite blush from CoverGirl. I love that they now have a cruelty-free and vegan option. So I'm definitely trying to support that because I think that it is important that we vote with our dollar and that we show these brands like we want cruelty-free products. We want more of this. And I think, you know, money talks and they pay attention to that kind of thing. So I really like using it not only because it's vegan and cruelty-free, but also because it looks really natural and pretty on my skin. Another vegan and cruelty-free lip color that I love is this gloss by e.l.f. I really love the applicator. It has this long, soft doe foot applicator, but it's kind of tapered, so it's really nice to put on. And this is a plumping gloss, and I do not think that it plumps my lips at all. I didn't buy it thinking that it would, but it does kind of make them tingle and feel really nice, and I think this color looks really natural. If I don't use this one, I will use the clear gloss, and that one's only $3. This one is $6, so great price. Again, vegan and cruelty-free. I will link all of the makeup that I use in the description box below. It's especially this palette. I've had it forever, and I basically just use 3 colors from it, this kind of orangey terracotta with these more kind of muted brown colors. I use that in my crease, and that's the only eyeshadow that I use. I just kind of dip my brush in all the colors and swirl it around. So I am also very much an outfit repeater. I think it's a really good idea to try to wear clothes that you love and take good care of those clothes. You know, you want to have clothes that make you feel good, and especially in the summertime, that's a sundress for me. It's just kind of a one and done thing. I can put it on and I feel really put together, but I wear the same dresses year in and year out. I try to take really good care of my clothes so that I'm not super wasteful with that. So I don't think you have to have new clothes all the time in order to feel good, and I wanted to make sure that I included that as well. I wear this dress like twice a week. But I hope you enjoyed my morning routine. I hope that it gave you some good ideas. And if nothing else, I hope you remember this quote: I am the woman with the basket, and how I fill it is a question that matters. What we choose to consume is something that is relatively in our control, and we can choose to be intentional and deliberate about consuming plants and healthy foods that make us feel really good, and spending time doing healthy habits that make us feel good and ready to start a brand new day. And every single day is a new opportunity to do that. So fill up your basket with things that make you feel good and give you the energy to go out and be awesome and be a good, nice, kind person in the world, as cheesy as that sounds. So hope you have a really great day. I would love to hear about your morning routine. So please comment below and tell me what your morning routine looks like these days. And if you want to check out the newsletter, remember it is totally free to sign up. You can click the link in the description box below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in a video very soon. Bye.